From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a tropical weather update.
Fred Gossage here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center on this Monday, July 14th, 2025, with your daily, regularly scheduled tropical weather update. And we do have a little bit of potential action to talk about here in the Atlantic Basin. National Hurricane Center continuing to highlight the possibility of tropical development here as we head into the Gulf deeper into the week. They're highlighting the disturbance off the east coast of Florida with a 30% chance of developing into a tropical depression or stronger as we head through the next 7 days, and a 20% of it happening within the next 48 hours. We're watching the disturbance here pretty carefully off the east coast of Florida. It's not a terrible amount of organization to it. The thunderstorm activity is still on the south side of whatever weak low pressure circulation there is, but it is getting a little banded looking on the satellite and radar, so it is trying to organize itself, and I wouldn't completely rule out there possibly being a tropical depression developing out of this before it ever moves into Florida over the next 24 hours or so. We'll have to watch that because thunderstorms now starting to get banded a little bit. You also see the upper level outflow starting to look a little more favorable here. So if we get a nice burst of convection develop near the low pressure overnight and then sustain itself, this could possibly at least try to make a run at a tropical depression before it reaches the Florida coast. But that's a big question mark. It's not a guarantee by any means. So we're not expecting a big system out of this. It will generally track westward and into the Gulf as we head through the next few days. We're going to look at three primary computer models here. We're going to do the GFS first, the Euro second, and then the Barron model third to show you what they think the system will do here over the next few days. And just computer modeling is not a guarantee. There's the possibility this could get a little more organized than what the models show, and that's why there's the possibility for development. If it does develop into a tropical depression before it reaches Florida, it would have a better shot of overperforming these models a little bit and actually become Tropical Storm Dexter as it crosses the Gulf. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But first, the GFS showing the low pressure out here off the east coast of Florida, moving westward the next 24 hours and crossing into the eastern Gulf. It gets a little more banding with the thunderstorm activity, but notice everything is loosely organized as low pressure by Wednesday evening is approaching the southeastern coast of Louisiana here into the northern Gulf. Showers and thunderstorms with this, and that's going to be the primary concern, is deep tropical moisture and the potential for heavy rainfall and flooding as this tracks near the Gulf Coast over the next several days. And then it brings the slug of moisture northward into a large part of the southeast as we head into Thursday, Friday, and the upcoming weekend ahead. Now we'll do the Euro, and you'll see it do a similar thing here with the low pressure off the east coast of Florida, moving westward the next 24 hours. It gets a little better organized, but still a very weak low pressure here as it moves toward the southeast coast of Louisiana, and then generally spreads moisture inward and inland as we head into late week and the weekend ahead. And then the Barron model does something similar. It doesn't go out quite as far, but it agrees with the others with weak low pressure developing here as we head into the Gulf over the next couple days. And then by Wednesday or Thursday or so, approaching the southeastern area of Louisiana, spreading moisture northward Thursday, Friday, and the week ahead. So we do think there will be increasing rain chances along a large part of the southeastern United States as we hit late week. However, if this thing is able to get a little more organized earlier on, or it takes a little more of a southwesterly track over the next 48 hours, that will get it a better chance to develop. And if it tracks a little more southward, it's over water a little longer, and the upper level wind environment is becoming a little more favorable. And the Gulf is very warm with sea surface temperatures into the mid to upper 80s here. So if it can stay over water a little longer, it has a better chance of becoming Tropical Storm Dexter. In addition, if it gets going a little sooner here and becomes a depression before it reaches the east coast of Florida or crosses over Florida, then it's already getting a head start, and there's a slightly better chance of becoming Tropical Storm Dexter over the Gulf. We'll continue to watch that over the next 12 to 24 hours here in the Tennessee Valley. I'm not expecting major impacts I'm not expecting this to be a big violent storm in the Gulf or anything like that, but there's the potential for this to bring heavy rain to a large part of the southeast over the latter part of the weekend into the weekend, with just the deep tropical moisture moving inland. And then closer to the center of circulation of whatever develops from it, there could be some potential flooding down closer to the Gulf Coast itself as we head into the middle and latter part of the week. We'll watch it very carefully here, but not expecting huge impacts in terms of a major tropical system. And as we look into the western Atlantic basin, still a lot of wind shear through the Caribbean that's keeping a lid on things, so not expecting any other development areas for the foreseeable future out of the western Atlantic. The tropical waves coming off the west coast of Africa starting to look a little better, and that tells us that we're just following normal climatology of getting deeper into the season and things improving a little bit, but there's still dust and drier and shear here, and these waves not expected to develop as we head forward in the immediate future. It's going to be a little longer and a little deeper into the season before we start getting organized tropical systems this far in the Atlantic. Of course, we have all the way through the end of November before the Atlantic hurricane season comes to an end.